Well, guys, today is going to be a very sad day, but also a very happy day for me, and I'll show you why. As always, there are a lot of beauties around this room. I'm going to be honest with you. But for today, we're going to be talking about this beauty. My rig, a salsa cutthroat. I'm just in the constant motion of trying to get this thing prepared for our next big journey, a little bit at a time. And today is a bit sad because of this bad boy. It is a Brooks Cambium Saddle C15. And let me tell you, man, I rode that saddle from Memphis to Canada. And it was a hell of a journey. I did the Tour Divide in that same saddle, man. And let me tell you, it did its job. I'll say that. It did do its job. You know, I ended up getting some saddle sores after the second day, but it wasn't due to this bad boy. It was because I was wearing bibs for the first time, and I just realized it's not for me. So I had to cut the lining out of those bibs, and everything seemed to start getting better. This seat didn't make anything worse. I think it actually allowed me to heal. But the truth is, the one thing that I don't quite love about this seat, I think like if I was to ride it for long miles again, I probably would still pretty much avoid saddle sores. But for me, right around back here, it's just a little too hard. And I love riding in the arrow position, and I have this seat pointed at a bit of a downward angle right now to help me, because when it was more straight, this seat really gave me some problems and right around the front. And it's still not the softest right around the front. So it's a slick saddle as well. So now that this has an angle, I find myself every so often having to scoot back up to this part of the seat because you slowly slide. And once again, I love this seat. I do love it. It's right in the right spot, perfect spot now. But this material also rips your pants. So my rain pants has a hole in them now. Another pair of my favorite work pants has a hole in them just from riding on this saddle. So it is known to rip pants and kits. But with all that said, me and this saddle been through a lot. You don't have to worry about the weather. It can rain on it, snow on it, whatever on it. It's going to be top notch. So it's been good for me. It was also, let me come over here. It was also able to use my Revelate Designs. What is it called? I forgot the name of my pack. But my Revelate Design C-Pack, it was really cool, the fact that a Brooks seat was able to do that. Oh, it was the spine lock. That's what it was, the spine lock. So, yeah, my seat, that was the name of my seat bag. But yeah, today is the day that I'm going to give Bisaddle a chance. You know, I went through several other seats trying to find one that's just as comfortable, but more comfortable, and still will provide the protection. And I think this was my best option until now. I'm gonna give Bisaddle a chance, man. And I ordered a combo kit with the Bisaddle, man. So as we open the box up, you see we have some instructions on how to do the Bisaddle. And here, I see it moved around. It was just like this in the box. And this is one set of tops they have for the seat. And this is an SRT 1.0 that I ordered. And you just can trade it out. One seat comes already put together, and this is the I chose the Bonneville long distance. I think it just sounded great. It has a bit of a cutout in the middle as well as being separated. And yeah, I want to check that out, the Bonneville. But the thing is, since this is the seat I think I preferred the most, I may want to try it out second. I'm not sure. But I may just leave it on. I also got the chromoly bottom. You can get chromoly, titanium, or carbon. But I figure since I'm going to have a seat pack on it, if it works, I need the railing system that can handle the most weight. And the chromoly can handle up to like 280 pounds. The titanium can hold 240, but I just like to have overkill whenever it comes to something like this. I almost went with the titanium, but yeah, it was a 2-in-1, and I think normally this was around $260, but together it was a little over $300. Something that I sort of hate to have is this is a seat cover to protect either one of these seats from the rain. And I sort of hate that you have to have a protection. I would love a seat that was automatically resistant to the weather, but I got 2 of them for 2 seats. I guess these are the screws that you use to, maybe use as replacements or something for these, which is, if that's the case, I'm glad to have them as potential replacements. There's something else in here. Open up the box. Okay. Oh, that's a mark, like a crayon. I saw a video about this. Okay, here's the Bisaddle book. That's pretty cool. It's probably going to just have a lot of things that the website has, but it's cool to have it in there. I always talk about people need to include a instruction manual. And here's the practice piece of cardboard that I'm going to use. I think it says in the instructions for me to find my sit bones, which is something I've been wanting to do for a while. It has a tool in here to use to adjust the seat, and it's a special tool with a short end, Allen key with a short end to work in between the seat. What is this? Okay, they're just saying where to follow them, and this is saying congratulations. We are super excited to welcome you to the Team Bisaddle. Please take a moment to join the private Bisaddle group at facebook.com/group/Team Bisaddle. I probably would definitely do that at some point, but as for now, let me get this bad boy set up by reading this instruction guide. According to them, I need to measure the distance of the widest point on the all bike seat to the end of your handlebar stem. It's shown right there. Then I need to measure the distance from the highest part of the old saddle to the center of your crank and put that measurement there. Ladies, here we go. So, as you can see, check that out. I have it set up pretty wide, man, to accommodate the Bontrager seat that I had on my Trek bike. I've just noticed it's a bit more comfortable, but the way it's made, you can't really add the spine lock to it, so just had to leave it on my Trek. I couldn't put it on my Salsa Cutthroat, so. And they actually said they don't even make this seat anymore. That's crazy, but either way, look how wide of a setting that is to match this seat. which has a cutout in it. I didn't do any changes to the nose right here, because when I sort of put it close to this nose, it was, close to the same width. So I said I'm gonna leave the nose alone, but these are gonna be the final settings for right now. All that's left is for me to add it to my salsa cutthroat and, adjust it properly and start giving it a ride. So let's hook it up right now. So here we go, man. I got the good old rig set up with the Bisaddle. And as you can see, I pretty much have it leveled off, man, to start with, like they recommend. If anything, it may have a slight lean going towards the front, just a tad bit, maybe, but it's pretty much even. It's crazy. If you look over here at my numbers, I had 27 inches away from the widest point of the seat, and they said go to the tip of the stem, but I actually went to the tip of my garment. I'm like, what's the difference, So I have that exact, and I didn't actually have to adjust the width, or the length from my seat to the middle of my crank down here. It was supposed to be 30.8 inches, and crazily, with this seat, it was actually 30.8 inches already. So I have everything set up. Now I just have to put some miles in and see how it feels. And this is the Bonneville long distance seat. And over here, I have the SRT 1.0. It was suggested to me after the quiz, but I honestly fell in love with the Bonneville, so I chose it to go along with it. And I'm going to test both seats. If I like both, I keep both. But the good thing about it is, for a temporary time, if I want to switch one of these seats out, since I got the package deal of 2 of them at a time, they'll switch it out for me. So I'm going to test both of them and see which one I like. But right now it's set up and I'm pretty happy. It looks badass, to be honest. Looks pretty good. So we'll see how it does in the coming weeks, and I'll add it to this video and you'll see. So check back in with you soon. Well, guys, I came back from testing this seat. I've ridden about a little over 300 miles on this seat now. From where I first adjusted it at, I actually had to bring the seat down just a little bit because I had did a bad measurement on it. It was really supposed to be like 29.8 inches from the crank down here. So I adjusted that and I gave it a slight tilt to the front. And I went through multiple adjustments on widening the seat. My sit bone, I think it was like 12 millimeters or something like that, or centimeters, I mean. And I was trying to find the right place to sit. I'm going to be honest. On my left side over here, I got it just about perfect. It feels great to sit on my sit bone on that side. But right here, whether I make it wide or whether I take it on the inside, it's hard for me to find the exact spot it needs to be on that side. I don't know whether I'm asymmetrical or not, but I know on a regular saddle, on my Trek saddle, I can just jump on the bike and I can pretty much go, and that's how I wish this seat was. But that is one thing I've learned is when you do sit on this seat, you need to sit exactly lined up with the seat. You can't just plop on the seat any way you want to plop on the seat. So, although this Bonneville distance is probably the thickest saddle, I would say it's so far for me it's not the most comfortable. I'm sort of used to my old saddle having a little give to it, and it's awfully stern, so to speak. You know, it's really uh not pliant when it comes to riding. It's pretty stiff. So that may pay off in the long run. I'm not sure, but I'm doing this video to say after 300 miles and not quite getting it right, I'm going to switch over to the SRT 1.0 that also came with the bike, and I'm going to test that out and let you guys know how that goes. So I'm going to put that on right now. So guys, I finally changed it out. This is the SRT 1.0 saddle. That's the Bonneville that I removed. It was fairly simple. It's just 4 screws up underneath the bottom that you have to change. Pretty easy. It did take a little time because I'm not the best at mechanics, but the next thing is to test this bad baby out. I gave it the same spacing as the Bonneville. I may have to change that. I don't know if I got the dip as far down or up as it should be, but once again, from here on out, it's another experiment. I'll get back to you after a couple of 100 miles. So, after getting the SRT 1.0 saddle installed, you know, I commuted on that saddle for well over 100 miles, going back and forth to work. But the thing about it is, it was like only 8 miles at a time. But I was always experiencing the same pain points that I was feeling on the Bonneville saddle. So it wasn't a great experience. And I really wanted to love the SRT 1.0. And I was liking it a bit more than the Bonneville. So one day I got a chance to take it out for a bit of a longer ride. I think it was probably around 60 miles, I believe. And the thing about it is, by the time I got back home, my butt was chopped liver. Today was really all about testing the bike, testing myself, testing the seat. The seat sort of left my butt feeling like chopped liver. That experiment was a bit of a failure, and that seat cost a lot of money, over $300. So, hey, I don't know where I'm gonna go next with the seat experiment, but needless to say, that experiment didn't go too well. And that's when I got in contact with Bisaddle, and I was like, hey, look, I really wanted these saddles to work, but I couldn't make them work. Because at that point, I had already went over the like 30-day grace period, I believe they give you, where you get the best opportunity for an exchange or return. After that, it gets a little more complicated, I believe. It's either 30 or 60 days. I think it's 30 days, though. But Bisaddle, they were really cool with me. They was like, hey, look, we understand. Just send those 2 saddles back. You can get a refund, or we can send you our Hurricane 3D printed saddle. And you know, if that doesn't work, then hey, guess what? Bisaddle might not be for you. They pretty much told me that, maybe not in those exact words, but that was pretty much the gist of it. So, you know, I wanted Bisaddle to work because I like the fact that, you know, you can try to adjust it to how, you know, your body is. I really love the length of those saddles. You don't have to worry about any pressure in your midsection with a Bisaddle. So I was like, well, let me go ahead and try that Hurricane 3D printed saddle. So I sent the other 2 saddles back without a hassle, and they sent me the 3D printed saddle, you know, the Hurricane. And when I first got it, you know, I will say, it's such a beautiful saddle. It's so beautiful. It's just absolutely gorgeous. It didn't feel too soft or anything to me when I first touched it, but it's not too hard either. So I started riding the saddle, and I will say, it felt like an upgrade over the SRT 1.0 and the Bonneville. I still sort of felt a little phantom pain points with that saddle. But with the SRT and the Bonneville, I actually started developing a saddle sore because, once again, I don't think it's the product's fault. I just don't think that I was able to adjust those to the proper way. And I do think maybe the materials, maybe they can investigate, maybe using some different materials too. Some that might mimic like a Trek brand or WTB, or I just feel like the components felt a little off. But make a long story short, this saddle felt a lot better. The Hurricane did. But although I had these phantom pain points, I never seemed to develop any type of a sore or anything like that. When I got off the saddle, I felt pretty good. So I rode it and commuted over 100, 100 plus miles to work. Probably 200 to be honest, because I never seemed to get a chance to take it outside for a long ride. And I finally did. I think I went far enough to say that this seat, like I say, it's give or take. And right now, I don't know if that's something I want to, be second guessing if I'm talking about riding hundreds of miles. But I'll get my final thoughts on that seat in another video. And when I did, as you see, it wasn't a great experience. It was similar to riding the other saddles where when I got home, I was a little hurt. I still didn't develop a sore, but I wasn't a big fan of that experience riding the Hurricane a longer distance. But what happened was I sort of made a minor adjustment. I think I took the saddle down like a 0.5 millimeter maybe. And what was so funny is it seemed like the saddle started riding so much better. I was feeling better on it as I was commuting to work. I was like, man, maybe I don't need to make a judgment yet. And at this point, I've been testing all these saddles for several months, just to let you know. So I've had them for a while, but it's just taking me a long time to really evaluate them. So, but I'm riding this saddle after I made that adjustment, and I'm liking the Hurricane. I'm like, hey, it may work. It may work. And so I took another long ride, and it was about 35 miles. Okay, guys, I'm in the middle of another test of this saddle. It's the Bisaddle Hurricane 3D printed saddle. I say this, man, I sort of did some small little adjustment that put the seat post down just about a 0.5 millimeter, and this seat feels a whole lot better, way better than it was feeling my last long ride. I've been going about 30 miles today, and like I say, I like it a lot better. One thing I don't love about it is it's just still sometimes if you're not in the right spot, it might not feel the greatest, but it's a lot better. I'll say a lot more about it, get my final thoughts when I get home. That experiment seemed to turn out a lot better. I was feeling pretty good. I felt a couple of those pain points, but I was feeling pretty good. And that's when I made that video, saying, hey, it's not going too bad. Right after that video, I had like 5 to 6 miles left to get home. And that's when the old problems pretty much started happening all over again. With, just starting to feel a bit of discomfort. Once again, the Hurricane didn't cause any type of beginning of a sore, but it was just discomfort enough to say, it's just not going to work. After 30 miles, and I'm planning on going, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles in one event at a time, I said, I have to give up on this saddle. So my final thoughts on the Bisaddle is I think it's a great idea. I think they're a great company for trying to find ways for cyclists to be super comfortable. I like the fact that they want to be innovative, but I just think that you probably have to be a wizard at adjustments to get this saddle to your liking, or you know, I wasn't willing to just go ahead and try to get a bike fit from somebody, because I just don't want a saddle to be that complicated to where I have to go get a bike fit to set that saddle exactly right. Because I feel like once I get in the mountains and I'm, like I say, away from civilization, it's just a complication I don't want to think about my saddle. And I know a couple of times I sort of bumped my saddle out of alignment when I first got it. You know, I think it was the Bonneville and the SRT. Oh, matter of fact, and the Hurricane, all of them I sort of bumped out of alignment at a certain time. I tightened it back down, and I didn't have many other problems after that. But I just couldn't imagine being on the trail and, you know, you just bumping your seat out of alignment a little bit. And I'm like, you know, I just didn't want to think about that as well. So if you're good at adjustments and doing the small, minor adjustments, maybe this is the saddle for you. I do like the innovation. I would like to see maybe some different components used in the actual seat. I just felt like it wasn't the softest of materials, whatever material they're using. Me personally, I like to ride without bibs. Let that be known. And they did suggest that, and maybe those seats are more for somebody who wants to wear bibs. I feel much better without bibs, and bibs give me saddle sores. And I will say this, you know, although the seats that I bought were supposed to be able to be used for mountain biking, I don't feel like they were the, like I say, most shock absorbing type seats. So I think to me they're better for like time trials and maybe a triathlon or something like that. But you know, if I could get it dialed in, maybe it could be used for mountain biking too. But I just want to send kudos to the company, kudos to the customer service. They're second to none so far. Even when I told them about the Hurricane not working, it's been a long time, but they said, hey, you know, send it back. I'll give an update on whether that transaction actually went all the way through. Hopefully it will. But as for me and bike packing, I'm still looking for that perfect seat. If all else fails, I go back to my Cambium C15 Brooks, my Brooks Cambium C15. It served me well at the Tour de Vidis. It just, like I said, I'm looking for a little bit more comfort. I do believe that seat won't give me saddle sores, but I'm looking for a little more comfort. And that's why I started down this journey. And plus, the Brooks Cambium C15 will eat your bibs up over time. You'll have a hole in them, or it'll eat through pants. It's just a little rough material that's on the Cambium C15, but the Brooks Cambium C15. But it's a great saddle as well. But you know, if I have to, I'll fall back there. But hey, it's an important piece of equipment. So good luck to you and whatever equipment you're putting on your bike. Hope this helped you make a decision. And once again, this is not a shade on Bisaddle. I think it's a great company. I just don't think this product was for me, and I appreciate them for allowing me to send it back. But as of right now, it's been me, JayDollKingHefner. And remember, if you have to go anywhere or do anything, all you have to do is get on your bike